Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Watch Shudder. My name is Michelle, and who's here with me?
Yo, it's JD.
Yo, it's JD, everybody. It's always JD. It's always
Yo,
Michelle.
yo, MTV Raps. I did that joke once already, I think. I don't know. My whole life is in a time loop.
All of this is a time loop. Time is an illusion. We know
Time
that.
is time is a flat circle. I don't even know for sure what that's supposed to mean, but it's a thing. It's a thing that people say.
It's giving a
Oh,
physical property to something metaphysical.
I
That's
know.
crazy.
That we
Crazy.
should stop doing that.
Yeah. Hear that, listener? Stop making metaphysical things into physical representations. Stop
Yeah.
it.
Here's what I recommend you do. I recommend you go to the store and get yourself a big can of energy drink. The one I'm drinking tonight is Ghost Energy, zero sugar, Strawbango flavored. I'm going to be straight with you. I don't recommend you get this one. Strawbango is a combination of strawberry and mango, if you didn't do the math, by the way. I don't know why this show suddenly turned into an advertisement for an energy drink that I don't even like, but
It's
here
not
we
even an
are.
advertisement. You're straight up telling them, I'm drinking this and I don't like it.
Yeah, but you should definitely
So go drink this drink that JD
you
doesn't
should
recommend.
you should drink a lot of caffeine until your heart explodes.
Yeah, that's definitely my goal. I had Red Bull before we started.
Oh,
Um,
yummy.
yeah, delicious.
I
My
don't
house
care
always has Red Bull.
I don't care what anybody says. And there are definitely other options, and I buy those other options because they're significantly less expensive, but Red Bull will forever and always be the king of energy.
It gives you wings. And it does really cool sports stuff. Like that guy who jumped out of
The
the
space
spacecraft.
capsule?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's the song that played Free by I think it's Twin Atlantic. Every time that comes up on my Spotify shuffle, I immediately think of that man and how like it's the dumbest shit. Like if that guy had been a billionaire and was just like I'm going to jump out of this thing and be the guy who falls the longest freeform or free fall, you guys, I have to look up this name because I'm realizing this might be a specific
Michelle,
uh thing. Yes.
this wasn't just any free fall, Michelle.
No, I know.
He
I
jumped from
know.
fucking space.
Yeah. His name is Baumgartner. Felix
Yeah.
Baumgartner. You guys, go check out the video if you have not seen it. Red Bull sponsored this guy to go into space and then jump.
Yeah, they
So
sent him up into a capsule into low Earth orbit, and he jumped out of the capsule. Is just high enough that gravity was going to be able to grab him when he jumped out, right? Like just on the verge. And then he falls for like, what is it, like 11, 12 minutes?
yeah, he free falls for I think 5 minutes. And he deployed his parachute early. And then there's a part where he's just spinning and can't get the spin to stop. It's one of the most breathtaking things I've ever seen. I think it took him like 11 minutes to get back to Earth. Right before he jumped, he said, "I'm going home." On the live stream, I watched this live, and it's one of the most breathtaking things I've seen in my life because I was watching it live. I had no idea how it was going to end. It's one of the most like fantastic things I've seen in my life. But again, if it was a billionaire, like if Bezos was like, I'm going to set the free fall record, and he did that and he got up there and he jumped and he died, I'd be like, well, fuck that guy. That was the stupidest thing you could plan. But Felix Baumgartner does it, and I'm like, this is inspirational. Oh my God, I love this energy drink.
I don't know if I would go so far as to say I felt inspired by it. Here's what I want to know is how long is it going to be before Felix Baumgartner just goes completely insane? Right? Like
For
this
what
dude,
reason?
like because this dude touched the void, man. Like he was as far away as you can get and still just fall to earth, and he fell the whole way. He free fell for 5 minutes, Michelle. Can you imagine? You're that far away that you can start to see the curvature of the earth. Because I don't know if you remember this, but in the video, when you look at it,
Yep,
you can.
it's beautiful.
He's far enough away that he can see earth curvature, and he fucking jumped and just fell for minutes and minutes. Quite possibly the most terrifying thing I have ever seen. And
Exactly. It's
how do you
breathtaking.
when you've been to space and just fallen to Earth, how do you stay sane?
This is a very good point because I have never even been to space and had to fall to Earth, and I am anything but sane. Ooh, maybe that's the thing. It makes sane people go insane, but if I go up there, I'm gonna come back
Ooh.
perfectly normal. I'm gonna be like, hello, I am here to balance my checkbook. I
Now,
do not make jokes aside from very G-rated, family-friendly ones, and they're not super funny, but they will make you give me a polite ha ha. And that's really nice. And if you'll excuse me, I need to go not focus on all of the bad thoughts that I had because I don't have those anymore. I no longer dwell on the time that I peed myself in first grade and had to leave and started crying and said that I was sick. And it was because I was too scared of my teacher, Mrs. Wick, to ask her if I could use the bathroom during a test because she was a scary lady. And then my grandma, when she came to pick me up, I told her what happened and she said she'd done it too. And it was like one of the best moments of my grandma telling me that everything would be okay. I'm not going to think about that stuff because I just jumped from space and I'm fine now.
right. Uh,
Exactly.
Now, also, it full disclosure, I may have sort of osmosis the idea from the Joss Whedon vehicle, Firefly slash Serenity, where they talk about the Reavers and how they went all the way out to like the edge of the galaxy where there's like no starlight or anything anymore, and they went crazy and came back as mad people. So I may
Yeah.
just
I
be,
love the Reavers.
but I
Uh,
mean, it's
what's
it seems like a logical conclusion to what would happen to those. So I just think Felix Baumgartner, he's probably, and I don't want him saying like a dangerous way or anything, but I think he's just gonna slowly slip into his own little reality.
there's apparently another person who holds the record above him now, and I absolutely will have to go watch that video.
Jesus Christ.
I know. But that doesn't mean necessarily that this other guy went to space because he didn't need to go to space. He just wanted to fall as long as possible. I was trying to think the other movie of the people who go up to space and go crazy. I always think it's starring the guy from CSI, but it's not. It's just the guy who looks like David Caruso. And it's not the void, but they talk about the void. He loses his eyes. What the fuck is the movie I'm thinking about?
Is that Event Horizon?
Thank you. Yes, Event Horizon is exactly what and that's why I was like, I know it's not the void, but it has a V in the title.
There's
That's basically the same.
there's nobody in that film who looks like David Caruso.
What's the name of the lead guy? I always think he looks like David Caruso.
Sam Neill from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, and the guy who looks like David Caruso. That's exactly who I was talking about. Not Lawrence Fishburne. Sam Neill.
Sam Neill does not. What are you talking about? Sam Neill does not look like David Caruso.
Well, not right now, because Sam Neill has transformed into a very handsome grandpa. He is what is it? A gilf grandpa. I'd like to fuck.
Oh Jesus! Now here's what I want you to do, Michelle. Did you just recently in front of you on your screen? Did you Google Sam Neill?
Yeah, and I'm looking at them side by side, and they don't look anything alike side by side.
Yeah,
But in my
exactly.
brain, I go, yeah, that's a white guy with the same kind of facial hair. That's the same guy, David Caruso, aka Sam Neill. But then you see him side by side, and you're like, oh, you're fraternal twins.
Oh Jesus Christ! Anyway, the
Yeah.
rule of Jenny Penn is what we're here to
Hmm.
talk about today. Speaking of scary, scary things, that's the movie we're here to talk about. Just recently was play. I think it just played at South by Southwest just a little while ago, and somebody whose opinions I trust suggested that it was real fucking good, and it just dropped today. So we're here to talk about it. Michelle, you were excited about this already. You clearly knew more about this than I did. How did you? What did you come into this with?
This is one of those where I kept hearing from people at festivals that it was really good and you had to check it out when it became available for streaming. But it's also one that I've been trying to duck and dodge spoilers for, especially because it got that limited theatrical release, I think, on March 7th. And so I've really not wanted to know much about it. All I knew was Jonathan Lithgow was a crazy old man with a puppet. And that he
Did,
terrorized people in a nursing home.
did you just call him Jonathan Lithgow?
I did.
I
He's
don't think I don't think I've ever heard anybody use his. Is he even a Jonathan? I mean, I guess you can assume if he's a John, he must be a Jonathan. But
I'm Googling. No, he does go by John.
Yeah,
I don't see anything that he's a Jonathan.
right.
Well,
Not
shit.
even on his Wikipedia, like born
No,
Jonathan something Lithgow.
no, it says John. All of
Oh,
these say John.
well, there you
Wow,
go. Take
that's
that,
crazy
Michelle.
to meet just a John. Okay.
Michelle, when I
Yeah.
say John Lithgow, what is the first thing that comes to your
Lord
mind?
Farquaad.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair. I immediately, of course, go to Third Rock from the Sun.
that's the
Uh,
second one for me, but Lord
yeah.
Farquaad first.
Well, and I imagine that's a generational thing, right? Just
Probably.
sort of an age situation entirely. But
It
you
also
saw
makes me think of The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. I
fair,
saw that for the
fair.
first time last year, and I
Really?
love that movie.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, it's a cult classic for a reason.
Yes, it is.
But John Lithgow, of course, has done a bunch of different stuff. But man, well, I suppose let's get into the spoiler-free stuff here. Should I? I'm going to give you guys the script, the plot summary. This one coming directly from the Shudder website. Here it is. A former judge must stop an elderly psychopath who employs a child's puppet to abuse the residents of their shared rest home with deadly consequences. The Rule of Jenny Penn, directed by James Ashcroft, starring John Lithgow, Jeffrey Rush, George Hanare. 2025, 104 minutes. Michelle,
Yeah. 104 minutes?
104 minutes. Yes, hour and 44.
Okay, that's not 104 minutes. That's 144 minutes.
No, an hour. Michelle, an hour is 60 minutes. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about?
An hour and 44 minutes is how long this movie is. It's
Yeah,
100.
and
Oh, you did the math to
60
104 minutes
plus
total.
44 is 104 minutes.
And see, I was thinking of 1 hour, 44 minutes. And I went, what did you say? It's not an hour, 4 minutes. It's 100. I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Yep.
Okay, so
Okay.
spoiler
Well,
free thoughts now, Michelle?
yeah. How do I feel about this? I really like that we have a horror movie that is specifically for old people to really, really be freaked out by. Obviously, other people can too, but like I've never seen a horror movie where the demographic is retired people who like horror. And I feel like this will really resonate with some older horror fans, and I like that. Jonathan Lithgow of John Lithgow. I don't know why I keep saying Jonathan. I think it's because my husband is Jonathan, but he goes by John, but I call him Jonathan. So it's just
Well,
like this
just
thing.
about every John you know is a Jonathan. It's rare that you have one that's just a John. So
Yeah.
what's
I
interesting to me though is just I have never seen him credited as anything other than John, so I don't know where you got the Jonathan in the
I
beginning.
think it's the autocorrect of my brain because I keep trying to say John, aka my husband, and I'm saying Jonathan.
Fair.
Because nobody calls him that except for me. So I guess
Entirely
Jonathan
fair.
Lithgow can be the same. The like nobody calls him that but me. It'll be passed to him. Anyway, John Lithgow, Lord Farquaad, as he will heretofore be referred to as, carries this thing. He is fantastic. I also really like the guy who plays his, I guess we'll say, nemesis, the retired judge.
Yeah, that's Jeffrey
Um,
Rush.
yeah, they feed off of each other really, really well. There's some great performances in this. I especially like Maka, I think it's Pohatu, who was Sergeant Maka in Wellington Paranormal. Great fucking show. It makes me laugh. It's like Reno
Who
911, but for New Zealand.
who did he
Um,
play in this movie?
he was one of the doctors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just got excited to see him because
Oh,
that's
I see him
Sarge.
here. Yeah, I remember which one he
Yeah,
was.
he's Sarge. So yeah, this movie really good. Not my favorite, but definitely fun. I do think at times I had a little bit of difficulty figuring out was I supposed to be laughing or scared. It does like dark comedy, but then other points I'm like, I hope this is not supposed to be a laughable moment because there's some really sad stuff that happens. And I think it was missing a little bit of that balance. I'm gonna go with a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 for Michelle on the Rule of Jenny Penn, a Shudder original.
JD,
Yeah.
would you like to hit us with your spoiler free thoughts?
Yeah, first and foremost, I don't know what part of this you thought was supposed to be funny. We're gonna have to talk about that in the spoiler section. Um, and granted, there is the element of so I'm not super old. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not crazy old myself. I'm not like nursing home old. But my mom is. She spent some time in a nursing home and a rehab hospital situation recently, and there is a lot of real heavy shit about aging in this movie, and a lot of things. I think the movie, interestingly overall, uh, I don't know that it's necessarily all it appears to be. I don't think there's a single reliable narrator in this entire thing, and we'll talk about why as we go on. So again, a part of my reaction to it is I definitely have a lot of personal connection to some of the stuff going on here. But there are little details that, as I sometimes do, I drew some conclusions and put two and two together on some things. We're going to talk about that. This was really heavy. It's really sad. It's that very sort of morose, kind of mournful horror. But I really, really, really liked this. This was a five skull for me.
Whoa, a
I,
five
I
skull.
if for no other reason than those three main cast members, John Lithgow, Jeffrey Rush, and is it Gregory Hanare or George Hanare? I feel terrible. George Hanare. I feel like George Hanare is almost going to maybe get overlooked because John Lithgow and Jeffrey Rush, first of all, their names are on the poster, and they're well known actors, right? And so they're going to get a lot of notice here. But I thought George Hanare, there's one scene in particular that I want to talk about that was super powerful to me. I
Oh,
thought
we might have the same one.
you
It's
know
one of the
which one,
saddest
yeah,
things I've ever
yeah, you
seen.
you know
Yep,
which one, yeah. But
yep.
God, just some and just a real honest movie, but also a very sympathetic movie in ways to just the experience of aging, and your body betraying you and your mind betraying you, and how that makes you vulnerable in a lot of ways. This was it wasn't an easy watch, again, because of a lot of my personal connection, but I fucking loved this movie.
Good. So 4 and 5 together,
That's a
that
four and a
comes up
half.
4.5,
I'm
4.5.
so good at math.
You
Like
are really good at it.
104 minutes.
I have no idea what you are
All
referencing. It
right, guys.
might be
Uh,
embarrassing if I knew, but I definitely don't.
sure, sure. Rule of Jenny Penn. That's the movie. We're gonna get into spoilers here. If you don't want spoilers, stop, go watch it, and come back. And of course, as we do, this is where Michelle is going to do her very, very best to impromptu, off the top of her head, summarize for you what happens in the Rule of Jenny Penn while I get medicated.
Okay, sounds good. The rule of Jenny Penn. So we begin in a courtroom, which is like one of my favorite places to begin anything. Judge Judy, People's Court, a lot of A&E shows all start in courtrooms, all very good. Guilty or accused, guilty or innocent, one of my favorite TV shows, and it's just the defense being built on a very complicated case and how they're going to get somebody to get away with murder because it wasn't murder and they need to prove that. Anyway, highly recommend it. What those shows don't have is a puppet, and I'm realizing that's a thing that's missing. So in the courtroom, the judge, he starts having a little strokey stroke, and now he's in a wheelchair, and he's no longer a judge, and he's trying to get use of his legs back, and he's really bitter and old and angry, and doesn't really have any loved ones. I don't think he has family. And as we're learning all of this, oh shit, a guy's on fire. There's just a guy who's on fire and he's just yelling. And this is one of those moments where I'm like, it's almost comical, where like it feels like a weird dark comedy moment to me. So that's one of them. And then the judge starts having Jonathan Lithgow show up in his room and terrorize him and George Hanari, his roommate, who I forgot the roommate name. Um but he starts button heads with Jonathan Lithgow, we'll say. So John Lithgow has a puppet named Jenny Penn, and who rules Jenny Penn does. And Lithgow basically just terrorizes people to the point where some of them die because of his antics. Like, what a big shenanigan maker, little rascal. One of the ones that really got to me was when this lady was very confused and was wondering if her loved ones had come to see her, and he just let her out like a pet that you don't want to let out on leash because they won't come back. And then next time we see her, she is dead in a mud pile. So, and the only reason that we know she's dead is because he accidentally switched his key card with hers and had to go find her corpse so he could switch them back. It's that kind of like really dark shit happening. And it all kind of comes to a head. Oh, the judge has a moment where I think he has another stroke or another episode of some sort, and now he's doing way, way worse than he was before. He can barely speak, he can't really move. And Jonathan Lithgow shows up, and now this guy's willing to bend the knee to him and be like, "Okay, you're the boss, you're in charge." And yes, I will lick the asshole of Jenny Penn, which is just bizarre. And again, almost comedic, but so fucking dark at the same time. The little dance that John Lithgow does with the puppet, like in his pants held up really high. These just a lot of like musical numbers almost. But then kind of disappointingly, they smother Lithgow to death, and now everybody at the nursing home is slightly happier. And it's kind of a happy ending and kind of like an abrupt end that I did not foresee. The rule of Jenny Penn.
Man, there's actually a lot of stuff there that I feel like I would like to let's start at the end there and maybe try to work our way back because I should have been taking notes. I don't find this to be a happy ending at all.
Ooh,
Uh,
explain.
uh, uh, okay, so let me try to. So again, part of what makes this movie so heavy for me is a lot of the context that takes place here. Something specifically that you didn't mention in your summary is that the John Lithgow character Dave, before he was a resident here, he worked there, and he worked there for a long, long time, like back to the for something like 45 years if you do the math, because the judge looks at the pictures on the wall and it says it's the staff of this place, and they go back years and years and years. So this guy worked here from basically his entire adult life and then became a patient here. How long before he was a resident there was he torturing people in this nursing home, right?
Well, I do have a counterpoint, and that is he didn't torture people before he wound up in the home. The reason he's in the home is he went to space and lost his fucking mind, and on the free fall, he was trying to beat the record. And then when he got to Earth, now he had to live in a retirement home.
Okay, for a minute I was gonna be like, where the fuck is this going? Okay, so that was, but yeah, that's an immediate thing that hits me. Also, um, so then it becomes a matter of, oh, like this is part of how he gets away with this, right? Is because the people there know him, and it's not that they overlook it and just turn a blind eye to it. They just they have a tendency to give him the benefit of the doubt because they know
Absolutely.
him, right? And part of what's so upsetting about this movie to me is the backgrounding of it, not the specific events that are happening. Like, this is a nursing facility and the staff is almost never there. They're never
Yes.
there until it's too late, right?
Yes.
They
It
are
drove me
absent.
fucking crazy.
Right, they are and here's the thing. I don't mean this, and I don't think it's meant to be a criticism of like, oh, these nursing homes are just shitty and mistreating people, because here's another fact of the matter. Nursing homes, like so many other places, are woefully underfunded and understaffed. right? And a lot of the conditions that you find are a result of that. These are good people who are trying to do the job as best they can, and they're not getting the resources they need. And that's when you start thinking about, like, this sort of stuff happens. You hear stories about people in nursing homes becoming violent with each other, but not like intentionally, right? And this movie plays off that and turns it into, what if there was somebody there who almost is there specifically because he just wants to keep torturing people there even after he's retired, which is the impression I got from it. Like, and just all the sort of stuff that can go on in that situation. And here, though, is where it gets like I mentioned, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of laying a lot out here all at once, but nobody in this film is a reliable narrator, right? At the end of and it's so clever how they do this. They start introducing the blips, and there are a few
Mm-hmm.
things back and forth that you see where they almost suggest. I think by the end of the movie, the suggestion is we don't ever know for sure how much of this is actually happening and how much of it is a misinterpretation because of declining faculties. And I find myself wondering if maybe this, there's always the possibility that this is leading up to these two old men murdering somebody because of a delusion they were experiencing. Now, I think the movie is specifically trying to say that this was really happening and this was
Yeah.
something that they
I did
needed to
not
do.
get
Right.
any part of, is this
But
reality?
this is what it made me think.
Hmm.
Right? This idea of, like, because there are moments where even throughout the movie I did have moments where I was like, oh shit, is this guy actually crazy? Is that what's happening here? And what's crazy is not the right word to use, but like, no, it just it conjured so many, because that's a thing that's happened quite frequently, right? Like a very famous case, Vern Gagne, former legendary amateur and professional wrestler, was in a nursing home in Minnesota, and he had dementia, and in a dementia fit, he attacked and killed another resident. And so, like, I'm thinking about those things and just the kind of dangers that can happen in that environment. And the whole thing was just super, super heavy to me. And also just the idea that because of the just the lax situation they're in with monitoring and staffing, that it had to go to that level for these people to stay safe, right? I just thought it was real, real, real heavy.
Speaking of heavy, I want to talk about my favorite part that is probably also your favorite part. One of the saddest things I have ever seen in my entire life was the roommate attempting to do a Maori haka and failing.
Yeah.
Uh, Out there in listener land, in case you weren't sure what that was all about when the guy was trying to chant and dance, there's this beautiful Maori thing where they do what is called a haka, and it is meant to be a dance that shows courage and strength. And it's one of those that I always get popping up in my algorithm when something goes viral related to it, and I wind up just bawling my eyes out. One I saw recently was this guy's brother passed and he was doing a haka in his brother's honor. The first one I ever saw was a groom doing a haka for his wife on their wedding day, and that was actually playing at the musical instrument museum in Arizona when I went. So then I was just crying in the museum being reminded, but it's this beautiful, beautiful thing. Yes, Shady.
There's just wanted to insert. There's also a recent one that's really fucking powerful.
The government one.
From the
Yep.
Australian Parliament, I believe, where they're talking about an old treaty or something, and the Maori representatives like fucking tear the treaty in half right in front of them and start doing. It's
Yeah.
an incredible moment. And it's a powerful thing. Anyway, please continue. I just wanted to make sure that one got mentioned as
No,
well.
that's a good one. I was trying to think. I'm like, what are the big ones? And that wedding one fucking gets me every time. But I've watched just so many. It's this beautiful thing where like you feel the power. You don't need to know the words. You just feel the strength in it. And then this man in this movie decides that he's going to do one as a sign of courage and strength and to show that he's not going to get torn down by John Lithgow. And he can't. And it is one of the saddest things that I have ever
It's
seen.
it was gut wrenching, and that like that scene alone is why I say, and he's great in the rest of the movie. Don't get me wrong, but I really hope George Hanare doesn't get too overlooked by Lithgow and Rush because all three of them gave incredible performances here. Uh, Also, very, I think, very selfless and very brave performances in the sense that these are old men now, and we have watched them through their entire career, and they allowed themselves to be seen in look this one of the big things about this movie is it really drives home just the indignity of getting old and your body breaking down and failing, and now somebody's got to come in and help you go to the bathroom or take a shower or something because you just physically can't do it. The way your mind starts to betray you, and those that I first of all, that to me is one of the most terrifying things in real life, like the idea of my body and my faculties slowly failing me until I'm just trapped in my own mind. No, thank you. But just the heaviness of that and that scene, I think, is the perfect example. First of all, it totally embodies what that haka is about, right? Because he has been allowing himself to be weak and to be abused, and has just because he gave up, right? He didn't know how he was going to fight, and then this situation finally gets to a head, and he says no more, right? And his body fails him, but it's sad, but it's also no less powerful in the sense that he's even at his age, he is done. He's not going to take this anymore, and he's going to stand in front of you and give you everything he has. And it is sad, but I think it's very bittersweet as well. But this movie does a great job of really driving home those indignities, those small things that I think a lot of people don't think about when it comes to aging.
Yeah. It's actually something that I think about a lot when I'm doing like my financial planning and that kind of stuff, where I'm like, what's going to happen to me when I'm old? Because I am a childless woman, a shrew, one might say.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, oh, I won't have kids to take care of me. I have to make sure that I have enough money that I will wind up someplace that's at least half decent because I know that I will not be independent forever. My mind's already gone and I'm only in my mid 30s. So it's only going to go down from here. Also very seriously, John's family has a history of Alzheimer's. So we are preparing for that to be a possibility for at least one of us.
Yeah.
So lots of those kinds of things. And oh, this could be an okay place to wind up, if not for John Lithgow, of course. But he's gone now. He's dead. It's all good. But it's still just like a sad reality of
Yeah.
like, even if you are someplace decent, it sucks that you feel yourself
Oh
declining.
yeah, I most recently as a regular sort of big boy 9 to 5 normal person job worked at a long term care facility, and this is a private facility, right? That is incredibly expensive for everybody here. Very well resourced, um, and even with all of those comforts, there's still only so much because you're still talking about people with dementia, people with all of these other different issues, and being around just being exposed to the vulnerability of that and the weight of it, man, it just yeah. And again, I think this movie definitely affected me more than it might affect most people because of my personal connections. But even on just a, it's spooky, it's tense, it's creepy as shit, and the performances are like this is a master class in acting.
It lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do you want to
Uh,
say about it? What did you think of the doll?
Jenny Penn seems like a bitch.
I
She's not a very friendly lady. That's
I'm,
not a
talk,
girl's girl.
I'm talking about the doll as a device, Michelle, and the way they used it for spookums.
Yeah, that device was a bitch.
Yeah, I thought it was very effective for such a simple thing.
It was a good
Uh,
prop. I feel like it did elevate everything where he can be like, "Who rules? Jenny Penn, not John Lithgow. It's not him. It's definitely Jenny Penn." Like being able to shift that power.
well, it's part of his the way he maintains the illusion, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it makes it so much creepier for the rest
Oh
of us,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
smart choice to just be like, this man, give him a puppet, some fake teeth, and some contacts, and let him go to town.
Yeah,
There's something about the way that they just changed his eyes and his teeth a little bit that made him way more menacing.
yeah, and
Those
that
blue eyes.
not to I hope nobody takes this the wrong way, but even that Australian accent really or New Zealand accent really
Yes.
really put a a bit of tightness on it that I was like, "Oh god, he's kind of creepy."
Yeah,
Um
and but almost comedic. Like him in general, he
uh,
was one of the things that made me be like, am I supposed to be laughing as he dances? Like he's
uh,
just like kooky enough. Um,
yeah, I guess I can see how that might strike you that way. For me personally, I never saw you know what I was thinking of was like, motherfucker, if I walked in there and saw you treating my mother like this, holy shit, I would kill you. And then I would go to jail. And but yeah, so like it was uh
I
I
had a
had
couple notes of things.
tell me.
One of them, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts that will always be associated with Lion King. So when they had that song, I got to relive the first movie that I saw in a movie theater, which was Lion King, and we went twice because I was so blown away by it. So I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. That's always going to be Zasu's song from Lion King. The other one, the Foley artist probably had a lot of fun with this one. It like it does a really good job of amplifying sound effects and making you feel so uncomfortable with the way that they do the camera work and the sounds, like extra emphasized crinkling and was it like misophonia where you can't
Yes.
hear sounds because they
Oh,
make you so uncomfortable, like
yeah.
certain ones get to you. And I'm like, I don't normally have that, but I feel like this movie made me have that, like extra emphasis on slurping. Just oof.
Agreed. This is I don't have misophonia either, and I was repulsed by a lot of the sound work in here, which was the intent. I can't imagine what people with misophonia are gonna get from this. Like, oh my god, because it is. It's very like it's not like uh dude in the substance eating the shrimp. It's not quite
I
that
also thought of
level,
Quaid.
but Dennis Quaid, yeah, that's it's not quite that level, but yeah, it's and even that detail, like everything they eat in this place is just mush, right? There's no food anymore. Man, it just yeah, the I was almost more affected just by the background of this than the actual story going on.
I really like the way it begins with the judge too. Seeing him kind of lose it a little bit in a courtroom and
What
also
a
just like
great moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like berating the mother of an abused child and being like, "You made this happen. Do not thank me," and just kind of showing like what kind of person he is. I thought that was very heavy. Where it's like, I don't know, technically, maybe you're right. I don't know the details of this case, but out of context, it seems like he's just being a massive dick because that is not a person who is on the stand and he's still berating her. So I thought all of that was very interesting. And the fact that we're just watching him watch a fly and then we cut to an entire courtroom waiting on him, you know something is wrong with this man because of the way that they shoot that and show us his perspective first and how he's just off in his own little world. And you know something's about to happen or is happening or has happened. Yeah, I really like the opening of this. I thought
It
it was very
was
effective and set the tone.
yeah, Jeffrey Rush did an incredible job. It made me wonder, like, would he have been berating that lady if he wasn't like? Was there something about being about to have a stroke, like putting him in that position? Because later on, when I'm like, there are some scenes in the movie that suggest ultimately that this guy has just been a dick as well, right? Like he's
Mhm.
not a nice guy. Uh, And so I don't know. Uh, maybe
I
he
don't
was
think that
just
was
that
stroke
kind of
induced.
dude.
I think he's a dick. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was you're right. You can tell from the moment we first see his face when they come up from the bug on the desk, like, oh no, oh, something is either wrong or about to be very
His
wrong.
speech is very, what was it, like stuttered? I don't
Kind
remember
of
what, but there
slurred,
was,
yeah.
yeah, slurred. That's the word. I was like, I couldn't remember what, but there was something off about it too.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm thinking of?
What's
Can't
that?
even be part of this conversation because all I'm thinking of is misophonia and how it sounds like something Jar Jar Binks would say. Misophonia.
Oh, misophonia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, did you really just bring up Jar Jar Binks?
Yeah, it got stuck in my head and I had to put it out into the world. I had to let that be free. Just like John Lithgow let that woman be free and now she's in a creek.
Jesus, Michelle,
That was
that's
so sad. That
it was
scene was
very
just
bleak.
depressing of just like, oh, he is inadvertently letting people kill themselves. He's not the reason she's dead, but he's kind of the reason she's dead. Like he would
Yeah.
never be put on trial with that dick of a judge presiding over him. But he definitely still caused her death and it's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fucked up.
absolutely. Yeah, just let her wander off and then goes out there to find her. Yeah, just a bleak sort of movie that definitely, bad guy gets his comeuppance and I'm glad for that, but uh had a real Stephen King kind of vibe, I thought, like Stephen King of the elderly.
Stephen King is the elderly now.
Well, that's true.
That
Hey,
man's like
Michelle.
90. Probably
I,
not, but given how many books he's written the amount of books that a 90-year-old would take to write.
yeah, he's written a whole. Michelle, I don't mean to throw a sudden kink into things, but do you have much else we want to say about the rule of Jenny Penn tonight?
No, I'm over it.
You're over it, okay?
All
Well,
I'm thinking is Jar Jar Binks.
fair enough. As I'm
Jar
sure
Jar
you
Binks
can,
went up to space, and
as
when
I,
he jumped out and he did the
Michelle,
free fall, you don't want to know what he's like
Michelle,
now.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but my dog is losing his mind. I'm trying to
Oh,
wrap this up. Can you not hear him?
I can't hear him. No, I really
Oh,
can't.
wow. Okay, well, I gotta run. This is a
Okay.
great movie. You should check it out. I know this is a weird way to end an episode, but we're right near the finish. I don't want to go walk him and then come back. Say goodnight, Michelle.
Good night, Michelle.